This week's Torah portion has us thinking about something that we here in Northern California try really hard not to think about. Earthquakes. How many of you have experienced an earthquake or a few earthquakes? If you're streaming, feel free to put your earthquake story into the chat. Thankfully, every earthquake I've experienced in my life has been relatively minor, but because we experience them so suddenly, they really shake us up. Vati baka ha'adama asher tachtehem, vatiftach ha'aretz al piha. Our Torah portion, Korach, tells us that the ground burst open and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed up a group of rebels led by a man named Korach. Korach comes to represent an arch-demagogue who only cares about his own power and glory. In a typical rabbinical commentary on this portion, there's a Talmudic quote: "The world exists on account of people who are able to restrain themselves during a quarrel." Eitz Chaim commentary explains Korach and his followers were not able to do that. So the earth gave way and swallowed them. The earth swallowed Korach and vindicated Moses as God's choice to be Israel's leader. Now this is an example par excellence of Torah theology. If an earthquake happens and a number of people are killed, the Torah reckons that the earthquake is a form of divine punishment. In our time, it's not possible to look at natural disasters with that theological lens. We ask all the time why bad things happen. And when powerful earthquakes strike, then as now, vatipach ha'aretz el piha, the earth opens its mouth, but it swallows both people who practice kindness and generosity, along with those who live their lives in pursuit of power and glory. We often wish there was a divine explanation. In truth, it's really just a matter of shifting tectonic plates. What I recall most about those few occasions in my life when there was a small, powerful jolt of an earthquake is that momentary brain disassociation. You're sitting in your chair or fast asleep, and it's like it takes your brain a few seconds to assimilate what is happening. I remember those gaps while my mind sluggishly began to just comprehend in retrospect, this is an earthquake. I think it's the reason that we practice earthquake drills repeatedly, so that after those few seconds of processing, when it hits you, earthquake, you just know to drop, cover, and hold on. In this Torah portion, the earth opens its mouth. But in our time, we get jolted in so many ways. Yes, by an earthquake, wildfire, or other disaster, but also by a health diagnosis, the loss of a beloved, by news of mass shootings, even by Supreme Court decisions. Earthquakes are all those events we know might happen, we know may likely happen, and yet we often feel shocked and unprepared when they strike. You probably know Jewish practice is big on preparation. Just as we prepare for Shabbat, prepare for our Seders, prepare for an entire month of Elul to prepare for a new year and personal atonement, there is some preparation we can do, particularly when it comes to earthquakes. If you've been meaning to do this, but you put it off or you did it too long ago, use this summer to restock fresh water and emergency supplies in your home, office, in the trunk of your car. The internet gives you an easy shopping list for what you need to have in case of an earthquake. Me, I cheat. Every year when I pledge to our local public radio station, KQED, I pledge the amount that sends me the free gift of the already assembled earthquake preparedness kit. I have one in our entry hall closet, one up in my office, and one in the trunk of the car. I add protein sources, tissues, pens, extra contact lenses, old glasses, my favorite tea. Who knows what we will need or be able to use? I buy earthquake packs as gifts for each of my kids. And don't tell them, but I sneak money in the bottom so they'll have that too, like cash. You can buy fully prepared kits online and supplement with your own creature comforts. Preparing for earthquakes is relatively easy. Other jolts, like losing a friend, like getting cancer, Alzheimer's, or other diagnoses, like reading about a mass shooting, like the overturn of Roe v. Wade. What do we do when these strike? Anything that jolts us can cause us to feel alone, forlorn, disconnected, and hopeless. Our synagogue is in the business of bringing people together, like right now, to experience a sense of community and shared heritage. We don't all have to think the same thing, the same way on everything, but our primary shared Jewish concern is for the stranger, the widow, the orphan, in other words, for whomever is most vulnerable in our society. It could be you because you have had a loss or a diagnosis, or you struggle with a mental health issue, or because you're terrified about what's happening in our country or in our world right now. Synagogue is a place of solace, connection, but also a place of action. You can join the San Francisco Black and Jewish Unity Coalition. Young adults can join the 28-day mitzvah challenge with Repair the World that's going on right now. You can donate to the discretionary fund, which supports dozens of organizations that make the world a better place for everyone. Watch for information about an Emanu-El Yom Kippur Day program here on grit and endurance. Rabbi Sharon Kleinbaum wrote, "Yidden, don't despair. We will recommit to creating and nurturing synagogues, communities, which will flourish as powerful communities of resistance and love. Joy is an act of political and spiritual resistance. We know that the Holy One is loving us, supporting us, and eager to see how we will emerge and build for a future. We stand on the shoulders of those who have fought long and hard before us, and we ask their blessing as we enter this Shabbat. Breathe, and then emerge in the future in which we lay the foundations for those who will follow us. We are a powerful community of resistance and love. We express joy as an act of spiritual and political resistance. We are a place to gather in times of joy, hardship, and grief. We are a place to comfort one another. We are a place to sing at full volume as we count our blessings and express gratitude to God. We join in a powerful, connected web of synagogues and houses of worship all across the world to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with our God. Nobody has to join a synagogue community. But when you do, you're not alone. You have come to a place that is the opposite of despair. You are part of a community of resistance and love.